the pressure who no book. If you don't have no education, people treat you like a book.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another tutorial. Today, I'm going to be continuing on the topic of ratio, and we are going to be dividing totals into given ratio. Our first question is, share £16 in the ratio of 3 to 5, or $16 in the ratio of 3 to 5, depending on where you're watching this video from. You could have used dollars, you could have used pounds, interchangeably depending on where you're watching from. So in this example, I'm going to be using pounds. Share £16 in the ratio of 3 to 5. What does this mean? This means I have £16 and I'm going to be sharing it into 8 parts. Of that 8 parts, I'm going to give one person 3 and one person 5 parts. So let's look at a practical example of what this really means. So imagine these were rock buns. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right? What this means is, if I've given one person, let's call this A, 3, I'm going to give the next person 5. So if you notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 parts in total right there. And of that 8 parts, I'm giving one person 3 and one person 5. Let's do it again. So 3. And the next person gets 5. So this is what that really means. Out of every 8 parts that I have, I'm giving one person 3 and the other person 5. Now, if I was going to find out in total how much each person is going to get, all I needed to do is to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this person, let's call this person A. So A was 3 parts and B was 5 parts. All this shows now is that A would have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And B would have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's what that means. A would have gotten 6 and B would have gotten 10. Now that's a practical look at what that is. So a practical look at this is, share £16 in the ratio of 3 to 5. Here are my 16, well, we're going to imagine that this means £16, right? So, or I could change that to share 16 buns in the ratio of 3 to 5. If I'm sharing 16 buns in the ratio of 3 to 5, it means of every 8, one person is going to get 3 and one person is going to get 5. Or all it means is one person get 3, the other person get 5. One person get 3, the other person get 5. But if you notice the amount that is shared when you share the first set, there are 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That 8 comes from 5 plus 3 gives 8. So out of every 8, now how many 8s could we have gotten out of 16? 2. So that means out of every 8, you're going to get one set of 3 and another set of 3 for this person, one set of 5 and another set of 5 for the next person. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is what we would get, 6 to 10. Now that's just a pictorial view of what it is. In an exam, you would not be asked to do a pictorial view. So let's look at what you would do. We're told that we're sharing A to B. And we're told that we're sharing it in a ratio of 3 to 5. So here I'm going to, because I'm sharing the total, I'm going to write T there, or I'm going to write out the whole word, total. That total number of parts is 8. The total amount of money that I'm going to be sharing, or in this case, I said buns. Total number of buns that I'm going to be sharing is 16 buns. Now we can do equivalent ratio. What do I do from 8 to get to 16? Times it by 2. So if I times 5 by 2, I'm going to get 10. If I times 3 by 2, I'm going to get 6. So our answer becomes 6. to 10. Same way as in the pictorial view, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 6 to 10. Now let's look at a practical example. You know when you go to the supermarket and you see those big packets of crisps? Imagine that there is this big packet of crisps that has in prawn cocktails, it has in ready salted, and it has in cheese and onion. We know in this packet there are 36 packets. In this big pack, there are 36 small packets. And we're told that the ratio of one pack to another is 3 to 4 to 2. So the ratio is 3 to 4 to 2. And the question is, if the ratio is 3 to 4 to 2, how many prawn cocktails are in there? How many ready salted is in there? And how many cheese and onions are in there? Now let's look how we could work this. Without doing a table, we could just do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 36 divided by 9, which is equal to 4. So 4 is 1 part. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 2 is 8. So that is the way we could easily well do it. Now, if I want to put that in a table, it's basically the same thing. I'm just putting in the word total here. I know in total there are 9 parts. And I know in total there are 36 crisps. What do I do from 9 to get to 36 times by 4? So I do the same thing with this, times it by 4, I get 8. Times that by 4, I get 16. Times that by 4, I get 12. In this question, we're asked to share 560 pounds in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 9. So we're not told who we're sharing to, so let's call that A, B, and C, since we weren't told the names. So we're sharing 560 pounds in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 9. Or depending on where you're doing it, watching from, I'm sharing $560 in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 9. Okay, all that means is that I'm sharing that 560 pounds into 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm sharing it into 14 parts. I'm sharing it into 14 parts. So 560, I'm sharing 560 into 14 parts. So if I'm sharing 560 into 14 parts, my first thing I'm going to do is to divide 560 by 14. All right, I'm just going to grab my calculator, 560 divided by 14, and that's going to give us 40. So we get that as 40. So that means 14 times 40 is 560. So 1 part is 40. 9 times 40, 4 9 is 360. 3 times 40 is 120. 2 times 40 is 80. So all that means is that A is going to get 80, B is going to get 120, and C is going to get 360. How do we prove it? If we add 360 plus 120 plus 80, we're going to get 560. So the question is, share 560 in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 9. So if we share it into 2, 3 to 9, one person would get 80, one person would get 120, and one person would get 360. But the question did not stop there. The question say, what is the difference between the largest amount and the smallest amount? What is the difference between the largest amount and the smallest amount? So the largest one is 360. So we have 360 take away 80. So our answer is 280. So 280 is the difference between the smallest amount and the biggest amount. Now let's think about another question. Imagine a packet of sweets has in 119 sweets, and there are red and green sweets in there. So red and green sweets. And we know that the ratio of red to green is 3 to 4. Our question is, how many are red and how many are green? So, easiest way we could do this without putting it in a table is to say I have 119 sweets. I'm going to be sharing it into 7 parts. So 119 divided by 7 is going to give us 17. So 1 part is 17. So 3 parts will be 17 times 3. So 3 times 10 is 30, 3 7 is 21. So that would have been 51. 4 parts would be 4 sets of 17. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 7 is 28. So 40 plus 28 is going to give us 68. So the ratio of red to green is 51 to 68. So we have 51 reds and 68 greens. So ratio, again, this is another example of ratio in real life. You know when you go and buy those packets of crisps, packets of sweets, there are many in there. When the manufacturer is putting them into these bags, they want to make a profit. They need to know exactly what they're doing. So they need to know how many they're putting into one as opposed to how many they're putting into the other. So in this case, it was a case where they were putting more greens than reds. So the ratio of red to green was 3 to 4. There are 119 sweets in there. If we wanted to use a table, we could then say total. In total, there are 7 parts. The total amount of sweets that I'm going to be sharing is 119. So that's a situation that I have. What do I do from 7 to get to 119? Times by 17. In this case, you'd use your calculator. So if I times that by 17, it means I'm going to times this by 17, which gives us 68. It means I'm going to times this by 17, which gives us 51. So any one of the ways we look at it, we'll get our answer there. So again, what we do in this case, we're sharing 119 sweets. We're sharing it in the ratio of 3 to 4. So if I add 3 and 4 together, it is 7. So add 3 and 4 together, I get 7. 119 divided by 7 is 17. That means 1 part is 17. 3 parts would be 17 times 3, which is 51. 4 parts would be 17 times 4, which is 68. It means then that there are 51 red and 68 greens. So what did we look at in today's lesson? We looked at dividing totals into given ratios. So we were given the total amount of something and was told the ratio in which we needed to divide it. So we're going to do one last example just as a recap of what we have to do. So imagine that the length of rope, a length of rope is 240 centimeters long. A length of rope is 240 centimeters long. I need to cut that rope in the ratio of 1 to 2 to 5. So I'm making something out of this rope and I need to cut it in the ratio of 1 to 2 to 5. What this means is in total, I'm cutting it into 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. I'm cutting it into 8 parts in total. If I divide that by 8, then I'll know how much, because if I divide that by 8, I'm going to get the answer for 1 part. So here we have 240. If I divide that by 8, I'm going to get 30. That means 1 part is 30. So all I need to do is to times this 1 by 30, which is 30, times this 2 by 30, which is 60, times this 5 by 30, which is going to be 150. So all that means is that this part would be 30 centimeters long, this part would be 60 centimeters long, this part would be 150 centimeters long. And the proof is if you add them together, 150 plus 60 is 210, 210 plus 30 is 240, right? And again, you could use a table to help you with this. You could say, because they've given you the total, you're calling this part total. The total number of parts, because this is the parts, is 5, 6, 7, 8. The total amount or the total length of the rope is 240. What do I do from 8 to get to 240? Times it by 30. So I'm going to times this by 30 as well, which is going to give us 150, times that by 30 as well, which is going to give us 60, times that by 30 as well, which is give us 30. So if we're asked which is the longest, or what's the length of the longest piece of rope, the length of the longest piece of rope would have been 150. So that is how we do dividing totals into given ratio.
If you not have no education, people treat you like a book.